Good morning and welcome to the Covrprice Top 10 for October 9th, 2023. New York Comic Con edition! At number 10, it's Birds of Prey number 2, Otto Schmidt 1 in 50 DC 2023. Before release, we saw pre-orders for this book skyrocket for this bubblegum cover with a high sale of $199. Last week, we saw more of the same, but hit as high as $276. Bubblegum covers have become a big collector's item, and this recent cover release proves the value it can pull. Schmidt illustrates a beautiful black canary cover that fans are all hunting down. We tracked 17 copies sold at a 7-day trend of 118%, with a current raw near-mint FMV of $154. At number 9, Wolverine 36, Ryan Stegman, regular, Marvel 2023. Behold, an indestructible rage mutant meets the spirit of vengeance. And no, it's not me. A force has never been so terrifying as that of the Hellverine. This book was hyped up before its release and nearly flew off the shelves when it debuted. The second print retailer incentives, 1 in 25s, are already reaching $70 for pre-orders. Most LCSs are out of this book already, so your best bet at getting a copy will be in the aftermarket. Good luck finding this character's debut. We tracked 18 copies sold at a 7-day trend of 112%, with a high sale of $170 for a CGC 9.8, with a current near-mint FMV of $22. At number 8, it's Batman 609, DC 2002. Back in 2022, a promotional website for the Batman had users solving puzzles that the Riddler had posted with a video of Thomas Wayne's campaign promotions. These solved riddles unlocked the video, quickly flashing "Hush" across the screen. Fast forward to today, a recent interview on the Hot Mic with Jeff Schneider and John Roca was very cryptic about Hush being the next villain. This was hardly confirmation, but rather more fuel to the already established rumor. Nevertheless, this was enough fuel for fans to track down the first appearance of Thomas Elliot, who would later become the villain Hush. We tracked 21 copies sold at a 7-day trend of 116%, with a high sale of $175 for a CGC 9.8 with a raw near-mint FMV of $39. Number 7, Transformers number 1, Ian Bertrand, Foil 1 in 100, Image 2023. In July, Image released the Transformers number 1 Ashcan edition that took SDCC by storm. The series' first issue was released 3 months later, and this retailer incentive 1 in 100 foil cover is just as popular. If you recall, the Transformers are now in a shared universe with G.I. Joe, a huge surprise to most. This also marks the premiere issue of an ongoing Transformers run at Image. If the 1/100 ratio cover is too far out of reach, hey, try for the 1 in 50, which is also seeing heat. For the 1 in 100, we tracked 25 copies sold at a 7-day trend of 106%, with a high sale of $180 for a raw copy and a current near-mint FMV of $137. At number 6, the Department of Truth, number 1, Martin Simmons, cover A, Image 2020. It's old news that the Department of Truth was headed to Netflix in 2021. Due to extenuating circumstances, the writer's strike most recently halted production. There has been little news since then, but this past week, rumors started floating around that Tinian himself had confirmed that the Netflix series was moving forward and was back in production. This came directly via his 9.26 newsletter, where he stated how he was excited to get back to the project. Yet the internet twisted his words and ran with it. We tracked 31 copies sold at a 7-day trend of $125, with a high sale of $85 for a CGC 9.8 and a current raw near-mint FMV of $16. Love movement on this title. Halfway through the order at number 5, it's Wolverine 37, Greg Capullo, Virgin, 1 per store, Marvel 2023. Legendary modern-day artist Greg Capullo illustrates a Wolverine that leaps off the page. What makes this book so hard to find is that it was a thank you from distributors to retailers and stores, with a Diamond account and a Penguin Random House account, likely receiving copies from both. Nevertheless, this book sped off the retailer shelves and vanished into the aftermarket. Tracking one down in the wild might be difficult. However, we still see many selling well on eBay. We tracked 46 copies sold at a 7-day trend of 91%, with a high sale of $858 for a raw copy, with a current near-mint FMV of $64. Number 4, X-Men 130, Newsstand, Marvel 1980. Yeah, this book has a lot going for it. It is not only the first appearance of Dazzler, but the first appearance of Sebastian Shaw, the second appearance of Kitty Pryde and Emma Frost. However, this week we've seen a resurgence of Dazzler books thanks to footage from a Kansas City Chiefs football game. Who knew I would ever say that? Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and Sean Levy, Deadpool 3 director, were in attendance at this game, and joining them, more importantly, in fact, most importantly in the entire world, was Taylor Swift. While no other new rumor rumors have surfaced, this was enough to spark renewed interest in the dazzler rumors of previously. We tracked 42 copies sold at a 7-day trend of $117 with a high sale of $600 for a CGC 9.6 with a current raw fine FMV of $81 as copies flood and stay on the market. Number 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Drama Team number 1, Dark Horse 2020. Nothing will send a book into the spotlight like news that a live-action project is in the works. Last week, CD Projekt Red announced that this popular video game would soon be in production. However, whether this was to be a movie or a television series was not clarified. The showrunners are a copy named Anonymous Content. They are the creators behind shows like Monsieur Robot, Mr. Robot, and True Detective, making it more likely that Cyberpunk 2077 will be a series. The first issue in this series is making waves, likely due to its relevance to the movies or show and its affordability as a key comic. We tracked 35 copies sold at a 7-day trend of 171% with a high sale of $91 for a CGC 9.8 copy and a current raw near-mid FMV of $16. Number 2, Spawn number 1, Image 1992. Well, yeah. This book is consistently moving through the top 20 lists every single week. There is rarely a week where we aren't writing about Spawn or talking about Spawn or thinking about Spawn, and it's for a good reason. It is hands down one of the most affordable, most popular, and reasonably found books in the aftermarket. Additionally, Call of Duty released its 6th season this past week, containing 8 Spawn skins, including Al Simmons and the Violator in his true form. This exposure has sent Spawn to the top of the aftermarket list, and we tracked 74 copies sold at a 7-day trend of 112% with a high sale of $180 for a CGC 9.8 with a raw near-mid FMV of $29. And at number 1, it's Dazzler number 1, Marvel 1981. This book is continuing to dazzle its way up the charts. You get it. Last Monday, Taylor Swift attended a Kansas City Chiefs game with her friends. Need more exciting news? Well, what if we said her friends were Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, and Sean Levy, Deadpool 3 director, and that gets interesting. Whatever side of the speculation you stand on, it won't stop the upward trend of this book, and it's experiencing more power than ever. We tracked 70 copies sold at a 7-day trend of 194% with a high sale of $258 for a CGC 9.8 with a current raw very fine FMV of $15. And that was your Covrprice Top 10 for October 9th, 2023. Have fun at New York Comic-Con edition. I won't be there. Covrprice, your home online for comic collecting.